Hey, I'm Dr. Charles P. Winston, Young Elders Butler, a regularly featured guest on the Young Elders channel about extraterrestrials. I have years of research into the ancient astronauts and ancient technology from your distant past and future. Over 30 ancient cultures reference interaction with physical beings they considered to be gods. Modern archaeology considers these stories to be myth. We will be exploring the 9 dimensions, a journey beyond reality in this amazing video. Are you brave enough to dive into the realms beyond our physical reality? Today we explore the 9 dimensions of existence. Imagine a dot evolving into a line, then a plane, and finally a realm of infinite possibilities. The first 3 dimensions shape our physical world, length, width, height. But what lies beyond? Enter the 4th dimension, what they are calling time and space, a realm where reality bends. There is really no such thing as space, because space is always filled with antimatter or tachyon energy. But nonetheless, the 4th dimension is volume, which is the sum of the first 3 dimensions, or should I say the first 4, because you are forgetting about the 0 point. So the 4th would really be the 5th, which is one of the reasons your frame of time starts on the 2nd. So there's no such thing as space. The 5th, pure emotion, where thoughts manifest instantly. By the 6th, we're traversing light and hyperspace. The 7th through 9th, they loop back, forming the essence of creation itself. Each dimension vibrates with unique frequencies, shaping everything we know and beyond. Ready to expand your mind? Welcome to the journey of the 9 dimensions. It's hard for humans to think past 3. Most humans are trapped on 3. Once you go to 4 or 5, the reality is a lot different. Some people think there's only 3 dimensions. Maybe it's what they're calling it. Other words for dimension is measurements, sum, calculations, and the best ones are frequencies or vibrations, which is what it really is. How many dimensions? There are 9 dimensions. Some people say 12 because they don't understand that the dimensions loop 9 times, giving you 81 and 8, and 1 is 9. There's only 9 dimensions, and each of these dimensions exist on a sound key frequency. The first dimension goes from a dot to a line connecting any 2 points. It has no width or depth, only length. The first dimension is vibrating on 0 to 16.6 Hertz or 0 to 1000 watts. A good description of a one-dimensional object is a straight line, which exists only in terms of length and has no other discernible qualities. The first dimension, as already noted, is that which gives it length, aka the x-axis. X, as in the female, being the first. This is where the plane of force begins. The microverse begins on the first, looping from the top of the 9th dimension. Keep in mind, as we break down all 9 dimensions, there's no number but 1. So all these dimensions are a part of the all, and the all is, and all dimensions are physical. It just depends on your vibration level. The second dimension has both length and width. Imagine a world that only has 2 dimensions. We create the second dimension when we draw a second line that branches off from or crosses the first. This is where we get into angles, such as the right angle. The second represent the y-axis, which is the male. These make up the basic principle of all mathematics and science. In plumbing, you have male and female piping. In electric, you have male and female parts. It's vibrating on 16.6 Hertz, 16.6 kilohertz, or 1 to 1000 kilowatts. The third dimension is the one in which you live, or should I say, vibrate on. The first 3 dimensions make up the realm of Nasuut, the realm of the mortal. A 3-dimensional object has length, width, and height. The third dimension is what we fold through to get from one point to another in the second dimension. It is vibrating on 16.6 kilohertz to 16.6 megahertz, or 1 to 1000 megawatts. Add to it a second dimension, the y-axis or height, and you get an object that becomes a 2-dimensional shape, like a square. 3-dimensional height, which means the measurement from base to top, or of a standing person from head to foot. The third dimension involves depth, the z-axis, and gives all objects a sense of area and a cross-section. The first 3 dimensions make up the physical plane and the plane of force. The 4th dimension is height, width, length, and volume. The 4th is the dream state. The 4th dimension is the subconscious. It is what they call subspace. Subspace, occasionally spelled subspace, is an integral part of the universe. distinct from yet coexistence with normal space and its respective space-time continuum. Subspace has an infinite number of domains. Subspace and normal space sometimes connect together, that which fills space density. What is density? The density of a substance is its mass per unit volume, so you see there is no such thing as space because there is always volume. Scientists believe that the fourth dimension is time and space. Time in the fourth dimension gets bigger. Time also exists on 1, 2, and 3, but once you go to the fourth dimension, time slows down. 5 minutes in the third is 1 hour in the fourth. In the fifth, 1 day could be 1,000 years. This dimension is where the spiritual plane and mental plane starts. The fourth dimension vibrates from 16.6 megahertz to 16.6 gigahertz, or 1 to 1,000 gigawatts. The perfect example of this is a cube, which exists in 4 dimensions and has a length, width, depth, and volume. Beyond these 4 is the fifth dimensions, which is not immediately apparent to us, but we can still perceive it as having a direct effect on the universe and reality as we know it, which governs the properties of all known matter at any given point. Along with the 3 other dimensions, knowing an object's position in time is essential to plotting its position in the universe. In the dreams, we remember, for example, space, time, and objects exist, but are less fixed and can, to some extent, be created or manipulated at will. However, fear and anxiety are also present, and so much so that the lower fourth dimension is the source of our religious images of hell and heaven. The fourth dimension is extremely diverse because thought forms only require thought to be created. For Earth humans, the astral body is our fourth dimensional self. It is also referred to as the energy body, the light body, the emotional body, the etheric body, and the Merkaba body, your starship, although each of these can have slightly different descriptions in different teachings. This body is said by some to be slightly larger than the physical body, extending 2 to 6 inches from our skin. It holds expressions of our personality, including thoughts, desires, likes and dislikes, beliefs, and our inner child. It is also described as the body we have before we are born and after our physical body dies. Dreams, including daydreaming, are a portal between the third and fourth dimensions. In dreams, our astral body. The astral body, as it is called by many philosophers, intermediate between the intelligent soul and the mental body, composed of a submaterial. What is astral projection, or astral travel, is a term used in esotericism to describe an intentional out-of-body experience that assumes the existence of a soul or consciousness called an astral body that is separate from the physical body and capable of traveling outside it throughout the universe. There are different types of dreams, visions, fortune, or things about the future, and trash or waste dreams. Waste dreams are dreams, thoughts the mind is trying to get rid of. This is in line with associations drawn between the fourth dimension and the heart chakra, air element. In the chakra model, humankind is currently in the process of shifting its focus from the third to the fourth chakra and some to the fifth chakra. The fourth, the heart chakra, which is the source of universal love, community, cooperation, connection, compassion, harmony, cooperation, community, and relationships. The air element in the heart chakra brings freedom to easily move, to flow, and to be who we are, not what others say we should be. Most of humankind is still focused on the third solar plexus chakra, but the heart chakra percentage of the population is growing quickly in this period of transition and ascension. Some people see the fourth dimension as a place to be avoided because it is similar to the third dimension, but with everyone having supernatural powers on 4. The lower levels of the fourth dimension are a level where different ET races are trapped. They can't vibrate past the fourth. These are a group of reptilians who shapeshift into the third dimension. The fourth dimension is also the lowest dimension. A higher dimensional being can go to meet with lower level beings. Extraterrestrial races, ETs, also known as aliens, angels, and including guides and teachers, exist, communicate and travel using fourth dimensional properties, skills and technologies. On the fourth, you meet with and exchange messages and lessons with your higher selves and higher beings, though we very rarely remember those higher density encounters when we wake up. People's third eye began to open and they begin to see the bigger picture. They are waking up out of the spell of sleep and ignorance. Universes can and are created by simply thinking them into existence. Multiple versions of Earth and past, parallel and future version of ourselves can be seen and visited in this dimension. The fourth dimension is the realm in the middle of Nasut and Malakut. There is no distance. Temperature, seasons, day and night can be controlled, and it is not subject to gravitation. Keep in mind the fourth dimension is just as real as the third dimension. What happened to you there affects your body here. It is a place that offers great flexibility to create new realities and experiences, but still has a sense of physicality, time, and a strong individualized ego, especially in the lower levels of this dimension. A four-dimensional space is a mathematical extension of the concept of three-dimensional or 3D space. The other dimensions are where the deeper possibilities come into play. The fifth dimension is the realm of Malakut, where the angelic beings dwell, where the higher levels of emotion forms. There are planets, moons, stars and objects on this level, and ETs or angels vibrate in this dimension. Some of the aliens who come here in their ships come from this dimension. The angelic beings in Malakut have the power to slow down their vibration to the lower dimensions. The fifth dimension is height, length, width, volume and emotion all together. In fact, some humans can access this dimension. This is what the Christians call heaven. It is the divine truth plane and the divine reality plane. A fifth-dimensional Earth would be one where most humans have a fifth chakra, throat, consciousness, which includes mastery of consciously creating one's own reality to live a life that we truly love. The vibration of the fifth dimension is 16.6 gigahertz to 16.6 terahertz, or 1 to 1000 terawatts. In the fifth dimension, what you're calling time go to a much larger frame or scale. 1000 to 1 trillion years could be 1 day in the fifth dimension, or 1 galactic year could be 365 million or billion years. The fifth dimension is the last point before you go to the other side of the mirror. Thoughts, universes, and alternate selves have instantly materialized in the fifth dimension. Desires and fears are far less pronounced, especially at the highest levels of this dimension. Earth humans retain their bodies while temporarily visiting the fifth dimension. In a fifth-dimensional consciousness, the physical body has also evolved. You still have a physical body in the fifth dimension, but become lighter, and the organs are vibrating on a high frequency. Your cells are biocrystals. The throat seat is wide open. 2/3 of humanity is operating in a higher consciousness now. It's unanimous, but not everyone is aware of it. The starseed can tap into a fifth-dimensional state of consciousness. A five-dimensional space is a space with 5 dimensions. The transition or ascension, both terms are widely used, to the fifth dimension have started at the end of World War II with the invention and use of the atomic bomb. Others point to the music and protest movements of the 1960s to 1980s, the Love Revolution, as the start of the planet's transition to a higher dimension. Artists like Bob Marley, Donny Hathaway, Marvin Gaye, Michael Jackson, Barry White, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, Miss Patti LaBelle, and many more. These artists created music that generated love. Their music brought change to the world to speed up its vibration, but the dark government bought them out. If they couldn't buy them out, they silenced them. The coming transition is basically being driven by a significant rise at this time in the number of people on the planet who have developed their fourth and fifth dimensional consciousness. The internet has helped with this because now people can sit at their laptop and learn. This costs the elites money because now people can teach themselves. No school clothes, books or school lunches. They lose money because of the web if they don't transition to the faster pace of the new world. They can also go anywhere in the world on their laptop through the web. For example, much of the information in this video is based on messages from different higher dimensional channeled beings communicating through me channeling. People can share whatever on YouTube and other social media websites in seconds. The practice of channeling alone has become normal and commonplace to a degree unthinkable a decade or two ago. Higher dimensional beings, including extraterrestrials, spiritual guides, angels and others. In 1945, they started to take much more interest in your planet at that time and have been working to prevent you from destroying yourselves ever since. As the transition from Age of Pisces, which started about 2,000 years ago, to the age of Aquarius, which some people say officially started on July 3rd, 2020, whereas others are saying it started on December 21st, 2020. The fifth dimension has higher vibrational beings who operate from unconditional love and oneness, which is often likened to heaven on earth, or a lucid dream in which you have complete control to create anything you want. Some of these beings say that our present shift to a higher dimension was a decision made by Mother Earth, or Gaia Ki, after experimenting with the lower third dimension for many thousands of years. From this perspective, we humans, along with plants and animals, are being pulled into the fourth and fifth dimension by the planet. Some say the sun is also helping with this. Others say that the universe and everything in it is always ascending and expanding. The end of the Mayan calendar on December 21st, 2012, is also pointed to as a milestone of the planet's ascension out of the denser third dimension. Evidence of the transformation in recent decades is seen in the tremendous growth around the world in consciousness. Following this understanding of the fourth being a level where beings can be trapped, we would want to carefully bypass the fourth dimension and move directly to the fifth by developing our heart-based love energy. Some beings, especially in the higher dimensions, forget what it is like to experience limitations. They specifically choose to reincarnate in the second or third dimensions to re-experience and remember those feelings. The sixth dimension is the interstate frequency band. It is what they're calling hyperspace. The sixth dimension is height, width, length, volume, emotion, and light. The sixth dimension is light. It is where time was first created. This is the dimension used for time travel. This is the FTL lanes where alien or angels fly their ships from galaxy to galaxy. When you speed past light, you are in the sixth dimension. This dimension vibrates from 16.6 terahertz to 16.6 exahertz, or 1 to 1000 exawatts. This is the dimension where stars' suns are created. Light starts in the sixth dimension, then manifests in the second, third, fourth, and fifth dimension through the spirit body in the brain. You see into out, not out to in, meaning what you see are frequencies being converted by the brain into thoughts. In the sixth dimension, over 99 trillion colors exist. After 800 terahertz, you go past the speed of light. In the sixth dimension, time stop. There's no more time after 800 terahertz. The sixth dimension is where light and color come down through the other dimensions. Once you go past 880 terahertz, you can travel through time. Most beings in the sixth dimension have no physical bodies after 200 terahertz. Once you are vibrating at 200 terahertz, 3 1/3 terawatts, or higher, the physical body change into light. They only have light bodies that are based on their emotional, astral, and mental causal energy bodies. For some, looking at some from the third, fourth, fifth, they would look like light. But for someone on the same frequency, they would look physical with shape, color, sound, and size. Sixth dimension is the Galactic Interstate with 9 lanes. This is also the dimension that the highest-ranked draconian reptilian can vibrate. They are trapped in this dimension and want out. They use their followers to control and try to take over the lower dimension. They need the energy from these lower beings to get off the sixth dimension because they are trapped on sixth. After 14.6 terawatts, you go past the speed of light. You must speed past 880 terahertz, which is 186,282 miles per second. After 880 terahertz, time stop and light color goes into a higher spectrum. Photonic life forms, also called photonics, were any form of sentient life based on particles of light and energy. Hence, they were a type of non-corporeal life forms. While some photonic life forms were naturally occurring, most encounters were with artificially created and often non-sentient holograms. Photonic beings lived in a photonic lattice and inside a protostar in the Delta Quadrant. While studying the star, I realized that these energy signatures were indeed life and one being. Another naturally occurring photonic species existed in a trans-dimensional realm and was unaware of the existence of biochemical life forms. They were capable of being injured or killed by the holographic photonic-based weapons. In the seventh dimension, you have access to the possible worlds that start with different initial conditions. Whereas in the fifth and sixth, the initial conditions were the same and subsequent actions were different. Here, everything is different from the very beginning of time. In the seventh dimension, there's no time. The seventh dimension is vibrating from 16.6 exahertz to 16.6 petahertz, or 1 to 1000 petawatts. The seventh dimension is the union with the all-plane, the realm of Lahut. The union with the all-plane is the seventh, eighth and ninth dimensions. Seventh dimension is where thoughts come from. The seventh dimension is height, width, length, volume, emotion, light and thought all together. The seventh dimension is thought. The eighth dimension is independence. It's where the 9 gases began to slow down and separate to form different waves or frequencies. Again gives us a plane of such possible universe histories, each of which begins with different initial conditions and branches out infinitely, hence why they are called infinities. The eighth vibrates from 16.6 petahertz to 16.6 zettahertz, or 1 to 1000 zettawatts. The ninth dimension is where the 9 gases are one. The 9 gases as one is called 9 ether. On Earth, these gases are known as radon or iron with the atomic number of 26, xenon E. With an atomic number of 54, krypton Kr with the atomic number of 36, argon R with the atomic number of 18, neon Ni with the atomic number of 10 and helium, He with an atomic number of 2. These are also called the noble gases on a periodic or elemental chart on the physical chart. However, on the ethereal chart they're listed as E2, E10, E18, E26, E36, E54, 9. Ether is the most potent power in the universes. 9 ether is the original creator who grew all the universes. 9 ether being utilized the force that yield energy versing energy into one form, the universe. Primary creation before the lightest atom, hydrogen energies existed as a form of energy existing in the form of gases, 9 levels of them. The ninth dimension is where evolution began, the evolving of existence from density to matter, to atoms, to cells, to organisms, to bodies. The ninth dimension is where the breath of life come down from, the live soul. Primary creation was performed by 9 ether beings called the Etherians, whose science is Nuwaubu, 9 ether. There is no number higher than 9. 9 ether is conscious and conscience gases. We can compare all the possible universe histories, starting with all the different possible laws of physics and initial conditions. After this, the dimension loop. The ninth dimension vibrate from 16.6 zettahertz to 16.9 yottahertz or yottawatts. It's said that many of the characteristics of the first dimension, described below, are similar to those of the last or highest dimension, almost as if they create a loop. The lowest forces of energy, which are finer, they give man and nature vitality and the ability to grow and reproduce. When one exists in any of these planes beyond the third dimension, he's referred to as an ascended being because he or she has ascended to a higher plane as a form of intelligent energy or pure light. It appears that the various planes of existence not only delegate the powers an ascended being has, but also his level of understanding or overstanding of the universe and his degree of enlightenment. The higher level of ascension at which a being exists, the more power, knowledge and understanding of the universe he or she possesses. When you ascend, you begin to see things in a way you never could have before. The higher planes. There are many planes of existence between human existence and ascension. The fifth, seventh and eighth dimensions of existence in which the ascended reside is inhabited by several different ascended races, but 7 and 8 is inhabited in large part by the Rizkians, ancients, and was also inhabited by the Draconians, Ori, until they were trapped down to 4th and 6th. These two foreign races were in fact of the same species, that is to say, the first evolution of humans, Rizkians, Alterans, Najaru, ancients, are all the same family, but they differ due to their opposing beliefs and method of ascension. The ascended plane of existence seems to have several levels and ranks, evident because some ascended beings must have more abilities than others. Those that have been ascended for a long time, or who ascended of their own wisdom, obtain a higher ascension. Ascension doesn't make you all-knowing or all-powerful. It is just the beginning of the journey. This journey or path to enlightenment, the one on the road to the Great Path, which is most likely the ultimate level of ascension a being can reach. This ultimate level, however, can never get a being to the level of being complete, omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, but is something that ascended. Beings still endeavor to achieve. There are some beings on a higher plane of existence than ourselves, and there is an order of beings higher than them. Galactic law stated that no ascended being shall help a lower ascend, although higher ascended beings have the power to kill lower ones. And those beings who vibrate on the fifth and down can be killed. When the Draconian attacked the planet Risk, the Riskians were forced to flee their home galaxy from fear of their lives because of philosophical differences between them and the others of their society known as the Draconian humanoid reptilians. They were on the evolutionary path toward ascension. The Draconians, like the ancients, Riskians, eventually ascended after this separation in the fifth. The Draconians' galaxy is home to a second evolution of humanity. The Draconians claimed that they were humanity's creators. It is possible that the Draconians did in fact created a type of human such as the Aldebaran's Pale People in their home galaxy through the use of technology similar to what the Riskians used in the Milky Way galaxy after life was nearly wiped out by the reptilians that occurred 25 billion years ago. The Riskians, ancients, used the advanced device on the planet Dakara to reseed life in the galaxy after the plague some billion-odd years ago. The circumstances of the Draconians' recreation of humanity in their home galaxy is not known, but I assume that this occurred after all of the leaders of the Draconians had ascended to the sixth. The Draconians manifest themselves in a wall of fire near the temple in the city of Celestis on the planet Celestis in the Draco star system in the sixth dimension. The Draconians created a religion with which to interact and manipulate the second evolution of man in their home galaxy. These religions forced a human to relinquish their free will to the Draconians with the promise of ascension. The Draconians were manipulating humanity because they actually gained power through man's worship, but were not intending to share that power with their worshippers, so the promise of ascension was a lie. The ascended Riskians, Alterans kept the existence of humanity in the Milky Way galaxy a secret from the Draconians because they feared that the Draconians, Ori, would become too powerful and disturb the balance in their planes of existence. Additionally, they feared that they themselves could become corrupted by the temptation of this power in order to achieve higher levels of enlightenment. Because of this fear, the ascended Riskians, Alterans, established their non-interference policy. They were not certain what the outcome would be if they were to directly confront the Draconians, Auric. So they decided that the best way to achieve the balance was through the actions of those opposing the Draconians, Ori, in the lowest plane of existence, the corporeal plane. For their part, this work included permitting one of their own to sacrifice his ascension and the chance at further enlightenment to retake human form to help humanity any way he could. Murdoch also called Michael, and Yanun decided this was the course of action he was willing to take by retaking human form from both his times as an ascended being. Yanun was given the opportunity to keep some of his advanced knowledge as a human, but that knowledge was not permanent and was life-threatening because the human brain is not physically designed to harbor or use such knowledge. Any of the ascended beings who have selected to return to human form are aware that their trip is most likely danger, because those who work for the Ori will easily spot them. However, the Ascended are not against interfering in the lower planes if they feel there is a significant enough threat caused by one of their own descended beings. One example is when they sent Murdoch to stop Merlin's Enki creation of a device that could kill ascended beings. The only time an ascended ancient managed to ever directly interfere in the lower planes is on behalf of the righteous.